Welcome back to our viewers in the United States and around the world watching the U.S. election tonight. We are live in Des Moines. It is a special night for us and our special coverage of the Iowa caucuses here on CNN. Right now, Donald Trump is firing up supporters. He's at a rally in Sioux City for his second event of the day. It is still neck and neck in Iowa. It is an incredible race, this 2016 presidential race, according to the latest Des Moines Register poll, seen as a gold standard of polling here in Iowa. Trump holds only a very slight lead over Ted Cruz, which is why he needs all these new voters who have never caucused before to go out and vote. His daughter Ivanka pitching in. She actually made a video that actually shows people how to caucus. And she's not the only Trump helping her dad campaign. His oldest sons, Donald Jr. and his son Eric, have been stumping for their father here in Iowa. And I had a chance to sit down with them today and ask them what this experience has been like.
We've gone around to everywhere. I mean, everywhere from the Des Moines gun show to local farmers, to car dealerships, to, different radio stations. The amount of people coming up and literally giving us a hug, tell your father to go all the way. Please tell him to go all the way.
And it's great going around and actually shaking those hands and just hearing people that say, I haven't caucused in 15 years, or I haven't caucused ever, and I'm in my mid-40s, and I'm going out there doing this for your dad because I love that he's changing the dialogue.
So Christian conservative voters are crucial. I mean, obviously here in Iowa, but around the country, right? It's an important part of the Republican base, so it's going to be important all the way through the primary process. An Iowa pastor told CNN, I'll just quote him, Donald Trump is a wolf in sheep's clothing, and evangelicals know what that means. He has stood for everything that we have been against. What do you think when you hear that being preached? Oh, this was a Baptist.
Well, I mean, I don't like hearing it, but there's plenty of other guys that have come out. I mean, Jerry Falwell came out with a great endorsement. And he even talked about it. He's like, listen, it may not be everything that you almost want, but Jimmy Carter was this great evangelical, but he was a horrible president. Ronald Reagan had his issues, perhaps in his personal life, but he was an incredible president.
So people are fascinated by both of you, and of course by your sister. She's about to have a baby, so she has an excuse.
On the road with us. We still have the Trump workout.
I mean, it's incredible.
A baby in Iowa. You just never know.
A citizen of Iowa.
There we go.
All right. I mean, what you guys grew up with, you weren't just rich kids. It was on steroids. It was a whole lifestyle. So people see that, then they see you, and they see what you've accomplished. And you're right. Even people who hate him say, but look at his kids. Yeah. What was it that he did specifically that made you all not be on the gossip pages, not be in rehab, not be those kids?
Well, he made us work. I mean, let's start there, right? So many kids in our situation, they never worked. My father gave us literally a sledgehammer. Kids, guess what? You're going on to a construction site. You're going to demo that wall. You're going to run the electrical conduit. You're going to do whatever it was. I mean, we were working from a very young age, and there was no free time in our family. I mean, he really demanded that of us. And we also had very blue-collar grandparents.
What would you say it was that he did?
It's similar. I mean, my grandparents on my mother's side, they were blue-collar people. My grandfather was an electrician from Czechoslovakia. Right?
You were very close with him.
Very. And from the age of 5, I mean, he saw, and my father, I mean, they had conversations about it, the pitfalls, both the benefits and the pitfalls of sort of growing up in our lifestyle in New York. So we spent 6 to 8 weeks every summer with him in what was then, communist Czechoslovakia in the early 80s, where if someone made $5,000 a year, it was a big, that was a big money. And so it was really grounding. And it was an important lesson from a young age that we just learned, hey, we have it really good, don't squander that.
So you guys go to bed at night. You're normal people. Your dad's not a normal guy. He doesn't seem to sleep.
Well, he doesn't sleep, but he's a normal guy. That's what he doesn't get enough credit for. And I mean, he's much more, I say it very affectionately. I mean, he's a blue-collar guy with a very big balance sheet. I mean, he's done really well, but I mean, he'd love to just, watch a ball game and eat a burger. I mean, he's much more of an ordinary guy than anyone would ever give him credit for. Not enough people see that side of him. I mean, the sense of humor, the opportunities he's given executives within our organization over the years, guys that start off as doormen and drivers, but he saw something in them and he gave them an opportunity to take on a much bigger task, and they thrived and they did it, and they had street smarts. They didn't have Harvard MBAs, but they had street smarts.
He's become known for his nighttime tweets.
Yes.
And so he'll tweet, so you wake up, you don't know what people are going to ask you about right there. There's a new tweet. There's a new tweet that's going to be out there. Does he take your advice? Do you ever say, hey, Dad, and maybe you've told him he should apologize for something that he didn't. Does he listen to you, or how does this work?
He'll ask everybody in the world their thoughts, right? And he ultimately makes his own decision. That's what's nice about him. I mean, he's talked about this before, but you see so many of these campaigns, and they have 100 different pollsters. If I go out and I say this, is it going to be liked by 51% of people? Is it going to be liked by 49% of people? And they kind of script their whole lives around that.
Does he? One of the questions people have is, okay, he says what he thinks, and a lot of people like him for that. Yeah. Some people, though, say, well, when you're in the White House, you need to listen to people. You need to not be impulsive. You need to be a person of judgment. Does he really listen when you say, wait, let's talk about this? I mean, 100%. Is there a side of him that isn't just impulsive?
100%. I mean, like I said, he'll hear everyone out. You don't get to where he is in business You don't have a 35-year track record of success and build the kind of companies that he's built, by doing it by yourself on impulse thought, right? You bring in the best person for a given job. You watch them, but that's the difference. He watches them. He understands. He's not going to accept mediocrity in those positions.
And he also has amazing intuition. I know you've probably seen it throughout the whole campaign. We've seen it kind of as we work with him every single day. Everybody's swimming downriver, right? And he's going the exact opposite way of everybody. He's going the exact opposite way. And it always, for some reason, works in his favor.
So when you sit here and people look at you, they can see, your faces. You both have similarities. How you look like him. Obviously, you have his name. When you look at yourselves and your siblings, who is most like your dad? Which of you is most like your dad?
Yeah.
I think, if you look at it, I think we all probably share a lot of traits. And then we all diverge quite a bit. I mean, I'd say Ivanka's very much like him in many ways, and sort of the meticulous nature of things. I mean, I certainly probably have a little bit of his sense of humor and the way I like to rib. I mean, Eric's got his natural sense of just construction and spatial visualization. And I think there's a lot of commonalities. I mean, I think we all have his work ethic, and no one's going to outwork him. I mean, you see it.
All right, so you're both married. You have 5 kids.
I do.
5 kids. Okay.
5 kids. A lot of kids. Five kids, 8 and under. So
I have a lot to live up to, Eric.
Yeah, come on, I get to work. I mean, in the Trump competition, I don't know if he's going to be able to get me this one.
I think you can have that one.
You
can also
you're okay with
expensive that one.
Yeah, I'm going to send him your way a couple more weekends a month.
So what is your dad like as a grandfather? Is he different than he was as a dad? Is he more hands-on?
He actually is.
Yeah.
I think when we were younger, he was so focused on building a business, and he was so passionate about it. I mean, and again, he always made himself available to us. I mean, I remember just playing with trucks going, in his office as a child when he's meeting with the biggest guys in the world, at the time, and whatever it was, it didn't matter who it was. He could be in there with Jack Welch, and if we called in or I called in from school or whatever it was, hey, Dad, how's it going? He would pick up the phone, he would talk to us, and that guy would, whoever it was, would wait. And he was amazing with that. So he always made himself available.
All right, and out front next, could Martin OMalley decide who wins in Iowa? Yes, you heard me right, and it's an amazing question because you won't believe the answer. He's passing on Iowa and pinning all his efforts on New Hampshire. I'm talking now about John Casey.